Hello everyone and welcome to a Deck Tech on the Constructive Criticism YouTube channel. I'm Spencer, host of Constructive Criticism and Limited Time Only, two podcasts about getting better at Magic the Gathering. Today we're going to be doing a Deck Tech on a Felidar Guardian deck, as it didn't get banned, and I want to talk to you about kind of where my testing started and where I ended up right now for week 1 of Standard. And I ended up on a pretty interesting deck that I haven't been wanting to play, but because of some of my other play testing, I ended up on Jeskai Saheeli. So once the announcement happened that 4-color was not going to be banned, that Felidar Guardian was going to remain in the format, I instantly knew where I gravitated towards, and that was a Glorybringer deck with Saheeli. Just being a huge part of the metagame already, and the power between the interaction between those two cards, being able to play Saheeli, copy your Glorybringer, kill 2 of their creatures, that turn, while dealing them a huge amount of damage, all while having a sub-game plan of being able to, kill them with an infinite combo, just makes the deck really hard to interact with, and something that I think gives the deck a lot of new depth that it didn't have before. And I started with that with 4-color. So let's go over this list, and I'll kind of tell you why some of the decisions that I made happened, and how I came to the conclusion of going back to 3 colors. So this list has 3 Felidar Guardian, 2 Glorybringer, 3 Torrential Gearhulk, 2 Cast Out, 1 Anticipate, 3 Disallow, 1 Essence Scatter, 3 Glimmer of Genius, 4 Harness Lightning, 2 Hieroglyphic Illumination, 1 Kozilek's Return, 2 Negate, 1 Shock, 4 Aether Hub, 4 Inspiring Vantage, 2 Irrigated Farmland, 5 Island, 1 Plains, 2 Port Town, 4 Spirebluff Canal, 4 Wandering Fumarole, 1 Nahiri the Harbinger, 4 Saheeli Rai, and 1 Fumigate. Some of the things that you'll notice is we have significantly less Anticipate than the old versions of this deck it had. One of the reasons for that is cycling is now in the format. So between Cast Out and Hieroglyphic Illumination and Irrigated Farmland, we just don't need as many Anticipates to find the things that we're looking for. If I'm flooded, I can cycle Irrigated Farmland. If I'm looking for lands, I can easily cycle my Hieroglyphic Illuminations and then still get the value out of them later, because you can still flash it back with Torrential Gearhulk. Becoming a huge part of the reason why I picked this deck is when I thought that 4-color was going to get banned, I gravitated back towards Jeskai control, with a very big focus on beating Mardu, because you actually already have a pretty good 4-color matchup with Jeskai control. In fact, Jeskai Saheeli also has a very good 4-color matchup. And one of the things that I thought to myself was, okay, well, if I think that Glorybringer is a foil to Gideon, which I do, I think that it's a big piece in the puzzle of beating Gideon. Then 4-color is probably going to adopt that card and be able to bring down the Mardu decks quite a bit. And in my initial testing, I was playing these Glorybringer decks in 4-color with a sub-theme of Delirium with Cast Out, and it was the first time in my testing that I really, really liked Cast Out, because I was able to get that Delirium sub-theme while digging for my combo. But one of the things I noticed is in those decks, I didn't like the front side of Cast Out, the actual the spell side of it. And I was like, well, how can I like both sides a little bit more? And that's when I came to the decision that I can still be playing the Glorybringer Cast Out Saheeli deck, and I can do it in a shell that's actually really, really good against 4-color combo, and build my sideboard in a way to really help me against some of the more aggressive decks like Mardu, and really gain edges where I want to gain them. One of the coolest interactions in my initial testing was that Hieroglyphic Illumination cycle into Torrential Gearhulk. It was really powerful to the point where I was willing to cut Glimmer of Geniuses to let myself have that happen more. Essence Scatter is actually a pretty big add for this deck, even as just a one-of. I think that being able to be the control deck and leave up multiple types of counterspells and make it so that they can't play around them very easily is really powerful, and something that I've really liked. Nahiri is also something that I'm very interested in this new format, as I think that there's going to be a lot of cast outs being cast, and her just being able to come down, destroy that, and get back, whatever it is that they used cast out on, gives you a little bit of combo protection, and also, let's be honest, like, I can dig for my combo, ultimate her, go get a Gearhulk or a Glorybringer or a Felidar Guardian, and I'll be part of this essential game plan that's really powerful. The deck's mana base is also really aggressive for a control deck. Being able to play all of these fast lands, 4 Inspiring Vantage, 4 Spirebluff Canal, 4 Aether Hub, all of these untapped multicolored lands, gives me a lot of options as far as what I can do with my mana early. Cycling Hieroglyphic Illumination, casting that 1 of Shock, casting those early counter spells. It's really powerful and something that I really enjoy about this deck that I wasn't getting out of some of the other decks that I was playing. And this deck still can make really big Harness Lightnings and kill bigger things. The sideboard is 4 Spell Queller, 2 Aether Meltdown, 1 Dispel, 2 Magma Spray, 1 Negate, 1 Jace, Unraveler of Secrets, 1 Nahiri, the Harbinger, 1 Fumigate, and 2 Radiant Flames. You notice I have Kozilek's Return in the main. This is actually to catch my opponent off guard in the main deck. Post board, I think that I'd rather just have the more powerful version of the effect. But in the main deck, I wanted one that I could both flashback with Torrential Gearhulk to give me outs. One of the things that my Torrential Gearhulks weren't doing against the aggro decks is making huge impacts. And with Kozilek's Return, they can do that in the main deck. But post-board, I would rather just have the more powerful effect. As far as the sideboard plans go, I think this is actually pretty straightforward sideboarding. Against aggro, you bring in Aether Meltdown, Magma Spray, Radiant Flames. Against control, you bring in Spell Queller, Dispel, Negate, Jace, Nahiri. Against big green decks, you bring in Fumigate, and if they're Aetherworks Marvel, you also bring in the Spell Quellers. And that's kind of it. That's your main sideboarding game plan, and the deck can adjust according to what those little things are that you want to happen. And overall I've been pretty happy. Played a few matches with the deck today, and it's definitely going to be where I'm starting right now. And I'm really happy with the 4-color matchup. I'm really happy with where the deck is headed and the ideas behind it. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you have any ideas to improve this deck, or if you have other decks that you think would be a good fit in the metagame, I'd love to see them. And thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys all next time for the next deck tech.